My name is Shawn Patrick Williams, and I was born in 1973 in Abbeville, South Carolina. And moved to Atlanta at the age of 7, joined the local church, and my parents took me to church every time the doors were open. And at 7 years old, I went down and joined the church and got baptized, and I thought everything was fine. At the age of 14, I was singing. I could quote the word. I knew the Bible was part of my Christian school curriculum. I basically, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. Psalms 1, I learned this stuff, but the problem was I wasn't born again. I knew all about Jesus, but I didn't know him, and that didn't give me a foundation to stand on when life's trials and temptations came, and trust me, they came at 14. Here I am. I'm getting buck wild. I started tripping LSD and started getting sexually active and fighting, and I started to listen to music that I wasn't supposed to listen to. I was watching MTV and BET, and I started renewing my mind with the world instead of the Word, and it made a dramatic impact on the way I lived. It changed my behavior. I opened up doors in the Spirit that I had no idea what was going on, and at the age of 15, I was getting kicked out of the Christian school. I was fighting, and at this point, from 15 to 17, but renewing my mind continually, watching pornography and watching these music videos and these living, this culture, saturate my mind in it. I basically, from 17 years old, was a drug addict, and my parents got a divorce, and I left my house, and I was living on the streets. Was involved in selling steroids and running drugs from coast to coast, from Memphis to Tennessee, from Tennessee to South Carolina to Georgia. And so at the 18th birthday, I got so sick of religion. My parents are divorced. Here I am. I'm a drug addict at this time. I'm living on the streets, and I blame God for my situation. I said, God, I'm sick of this. I am sick of life, and I wanted to kill myself. And I was mad at God, and I basically cursed God on the beach in Jacksonville, Florida, and I cussed him out. I got real with God. I was just cussing him up and down, and I made a pact with the devil that night. I was drunk, walking on the beach down from the pier in Jack's Beach, and at this point, I was, I opened up doors. I made a pact with the devil, and I forgot about it actually that night. But the next 6 months, I started dating a girl in Wicca and started selling drugs all to different groups in Santeria, Satanism, and target marketing. I'd go into nightclubs and music festivals, and I'd sell ecstasy and cocaine and acid and target market to groups like that. And my passion was to be the man. I watched Scarface one too many times, and I wanted to be the man, and basically started to move drugs in a heavier volume, and over the years I did just that, and I started targeting these groups, and I was selling drugs to the people in the Church of Satan, and so here I am. I get to the point where I'm worse than everybody I know. I'm kicking doors down, collecting money. I'm real violent, fighting, and over time, over a 5-year period, I was shooting up 7 to 28 grams of cocaine for over a 3-year period, shooting heroin, doing heroin, and was miserable. I wanted life to be over, yet I wanted everything, and I started moving drugs, using some money and moving drugs from South California, Southern California, San Diego area, Tijuana, back up to the Carolinas. And during that process, I got involved with more people in the occult, and over this time, I was working in bars as a front, selling stuff in the Atlanta area, and by the time I'd say here at 25 years, well, at 23, I opened up a nightclub in Greenwood, South Carolina, a hip-hop club. And before I left, my friend was a preacher in the Church of Satan and a high priest in Santeria. They quote-unquote, blessed my nightclub and cast spells, mojo bags, read my tarot cards. And I thought that they were blessing, but they were releasing demons over my business. And I started to prosper, but my life was falling apart, and I was very paranoid. I was around everybody, but so alone. I really had some serious things going on, and I started to know that I had to make a decision. I had to either was all the way in or all the way out, and I was using this money in this nightclub to run drugs back and forth. And so I got to a point where I knew that I was either going to die or go to jail. And on my 25th birthday, the poker machines came back in South Carolina, and we were counting $15,000 to $20,000 a weekend. Me and my brother off of our bar, and through the poker machines. And I was just I got to the point where I knew something was going on, and my friends there in the Atlanta area that christened me in the nightclub business, they basically asked me to come back. On my 25th birthday, I didn't tell anybody where I left, where I was going, and I left my club, and I went to visit them. And that night, 7 years to the day of making that pact, I was high on ecstasy, high on cocaine, and I basically popped in on there at this club in Atlanta, rave bar in Atlanta, and that night they made me an offer to be a millionaire within 6 months to a year. And one of the guys said, "Come here, we want to show you something." And they took me up into the DJ booth with 400 or 500 kids dancing, and so he said, "What do you think about this mural?" They painted this picture of a dark angel on the back of the mural, and I was up there in the DJ booth, and the power of God came on me. He turned around and said, "What do you think?" And this guy looked at me in the eyes, and I heard a voice, and it said, "Heaven's real, hell's real. You've got to make a choice." And I was scared, but I knew it was God. And I made a choice there to serve God, and I did. And it's been 10 years, and I had divine intervention there in August 16th, 1998, 7 years to the day. And so in 2003, God got me out of that situation here that night, and I started to get in the Word and devour the Word and renew my mind with the Word instead of the world. But in 2003, I was 30th birthday. I was driving back from Miami with a group full of kids, and the power of God filled a van that I was driving in, and he started speaking to me about a generation being raised up in the church that was going to change the face of what the church would look like and sound like. They would be radical. They would have a passion for Jesus. They would be a group of warriors being raised up for this last day's harvest before Jesus Christ comes back. And the Spirit of God spoke to me then and told me to name our ministry Warrior Nations, and that's how it was birthed. So at the age of 30 in 2003, I was commissioned by the Spirit of God, and our ministry was birthed, and 501c3 started there at 2003. And this is a season, and this is a time where God's raising up a passionate generation that doesn't care what the world thinks and doesn't care about anything else but the coming King. And it's radically changing the face of Christianity for the good. And I want to encourage you, if you're out there, join the warrior team. God's raising up a generation that's tearing down strongholds and raising up holy strongholds. Revival is coming to America. Brace yourself, get ready, because this group of warriors are being released in this generation, and it is absolutely going to change the face of what Christianity looks like.